In this video tutorial, the switch statement will be explained. The switch statement can be used to establish multipath selection in C++. To demonstrate this, a program will be written of a simple arithmetic calculator that will ask the user to input two integer numbers, and then the user will be asked to input a number between 1 and 5, 1 for addition, 2 subtraction, 3 multiplication, 4 division, and 5 to exit the program. And after the user inputs a number, the switch statement is used to calculate and compute the appropriate result, and then the result is displayed at the output. First of all, we need to declare our variables. In this program, we need 4 integer variables, a, b, c for the numbers, and selection will store a value between 1 and 5. The next thing we need to do is write the input statement to input the two integer numbers. Next, we need to design at the output a menu for the user to select a number between 1 and 5. As I said, 1 for addition, and at the end 5 to exit the program. After the second input, the variable selection now has a number between 1 and 5, and so the next thing we can do is write the switch statement, and the structure of the switch statement is as such. The switch statement is made of two parts. We have the header and we have the body of the switch. In the header, we have, within the parentheses, we should have the switch variable, which could be an integer or a character variable. And within the body of the switch, we will write the what we call the cases or the paths of the switch. You can see here the switch variable is selection, and this line here is the first case of the switch, and this is how it works. The compiler will check the case constant here. In this case it's 1. If it is equal to the value of selection, then what comes after the colon of the case is executed, and in this instance it is the addition of a and b, which is the result is copied into C. Now the break statement here is used to allow the program to exit from the switch statement. Now we can write the other cases accordingly. As you can see here, we have 4 cases, each case to calculate the required arithmetic. Notice here in case 4 for the division, we have here C equals A divided by B. Now this rational expression will give me an integer result, because A is integer and B is integer, and of course this will lead to a it will lead to a logical error at the output. To solve this problem, we need to apply the cast operation to either the numerator or the denominator of the expression. So for example, we can cast the numerator here by saying float A. This will force the value of A to become floating point, so that we have float over integer, and the result is float, which is copied into the variable C. Now the fifth path would be the exit path of the switch statement, and in this case we can use the default case. As you can see here, if the user selects a number 5 for example, then the default switch case is executed, and it says here go to end program. End program is a label which causes the program to exit and stop. To summarize how the switch statement works, let's say that the selection variable selection has a value of 3. So what happens, the compiler will come to the first case and check the case constant here, which is 1, If it's a match with selection, then it will execute what comes after the colon. Otherwise, for our example, there is no match, so it will go to the next case, and again it will compare the case constant 2 with the selection value, and it will see that there is no match, and then it will go to the third case, and here it will see that 3 matches the selection value, and accordingly it will then execute the assignment statement, which is the multiplication of the two numbers. Now the break here is very important because it causes the compiler to branch out from the switch statement. If we do not include the break, then even if case 3 is selected, it will then go to case 4, and this will cause a logical error at the output. Notice here the default case has no constant, and also that the break is not required in this case. Now after the program computes the arithmetic, we need to display the result. After the result is displayed at the output, the user is given a choice to continue with yes or no, and the variable choice then captures the value of y or n, and accordingly here, using an if statement, you can see here in the if statement we have two expressions which are logically linked with the OR operator. So if choice is equal to small letter y, or choice is equal to capital Y, then the program jumps to the label next, and the input at the beginning is repeated. Otherwise, if the user selects N for no, then the if statement is ignored and the program ends. Before we run the program, there is a logical error. If you notice here, for the calculation of C, for the division case, we have a rational expression. Therefore, the result should be a floating point number, meaning that the variable C should be a floating point variable. Let me show you what happens if I run the program. So by running the program here, enter two integer numbers. Let's say that the first number A is 1 and the second number is 2, and from the menu, if I choose, let's say 4 for division, the result should be 0.5, but we are getting 0. This is because the variable C has been declared as integer, and therefore it does not store the floating point number. So to rectify this problem, we need to go back to the declaration and redeclare C as floating point variable, and of course selection should be kept integer here. Now the program has been fully debugged, and we can now safely run the program and observe the output. So here, enter two integer numbers, let's say 10 and 20. So from the menu I will choose 1 for add, and the result is 30. Let's say I want to continue. Again, enter two integer numbers, let's say 20 and 30, and if we subtract, we get -10, which is correct. For the third case, let's say that the numbers are 2 and 3. We multiply, we get 6. And for the division, let us check if we have solved the logical error problem. Let's say 1 and 2. So the answer should be, if I select division, the answer should be 0.5, and it is correct, as you can see. And let's say if I want to continue, and then I give the numbers, and then I've decided to exit the program, let's say 5, press any key to continue. This concludes this tutorial.